A black CEO was removed from her own hotel. And just 9 minutes later, she dismissed the entire staff. "Please leave my lobby. This environment is not suitable for you." The words were not uttered by chance. Their delivery was akin to a well-crafted policy, assertive, unmistakable, and meticulously rehearsed. Richard Harlan, the manager of the Horizon Grand Hotel in downtown Seattle, positioned himself behind the front desk, arms crossed, his expression revealing a clear sense of judgment. He was neither whispering nor concealing himself. He spoke loudly enough for everyone in the lobby to hear. He fixed his gaze on her, the black woman in simple attire, and made a decisive judgment in that moment that she was out of place. Unbeknownst to him, in precisely 9 minutes, the woman before him would deliver the news of his termination. Every member of his team stood right there in the lobby, the very place where he had just attempted to humiliate her. Before we dive into the details, please share your location with us. Please share the name of your city in the comments below. If this moment captivated you as it did the guests surrounding her, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up. Let us take a moment to reflect on the origins of this moment. Janelle Brooks entered the Horizon Grand through the glass doors, solitary in her presence, without an assistant, a designer purse, or brand labels. She wore a simple black t-shirt and fitted jeans, her calm eyes reflecting a familiarity with the situation. She walked deliberately across the marble floor, each step exuding confidence. Her sneakers were nearly silent, yet her presence created a noticeable ripple throughout the lobby. She made her way to the front desk. Behind him stood Gregory, 48, accompanied by 2 clerks, Ashley Stern, 30, sporting a sleek ponytail and an even tighter smile, and Ravi Kapoor, at 27, with arms crossed and eyes narrowed in suspicion. Not a single one of them offered a greeting, nor did any of them smile. They scrutinized her from head to toe, as if she were an issue poised to arise. Aisha stated calmly, "I have a reservation. Penthouse suite. This is Carter speaking." Gregory narrowed his eyes at her, as if he had misunderstood what she said. "This room is of exceptional quality. Have you confirmed that you reserved the correct hotel?" Aisha chose not to respond to the insult. With a composed demeanor, she smoothly placed her ID and sleek black credit card on the counter. Gregory delicately lifted them with 2 fingers, grasping the card as if it were capable of leaving a mark on him. "How peculiar," he murmured. "This appears to be questionable." Lauren activated a button on the desk. Her voice resonated through the intercom. "We have detected a potential unauthorized individual attempting to gain access to one of our premium suites, which raises concerns about possible fraudulent activity." Aisha maintained a stoic expression. She maintained a low tone in her voice. "I'm not looking for trouble, I just want my room," Kevin remarked with a scoff. It is a common practice that many individuals engage in regularly. They discovered elaborate cards with fictitious names, typically anticipating that we would not verify them. Across the room, Rachel Knox, a travel blogger hailing from San Francisco, had already lifted her phone. "I'm filming this," she whispered to her friend Rachel Knox, then spoke louder. "This post is being published. This is something that deserves attention." Jacob has commenced live streaming. He narrated that they were at the Horizon Grand in Seattle. "We are witnessing an unfortunate situation unfold before our eyes." Maria Rios, the young concierge positioned to the side, looked up from her desk, her gaze connecting with Aisha's. A fleeting exchange occurred between them, marked by silence and speed, perhaps a moment of recognition or a hint of concern. Elena advanced a step, yet Gregory intercepted her with a piercing look. "She doesn't belong here," he said sharply. Aisha retrieved her phone and executed a discreet tap. Meanwhile, in a corporate office just 3 blocks away, her executive assistant, Monica Fields, answered the call without hesitation. "It's happening," Aisha said softly. Nia acted without hesitation. "The system is fully prepared." Gregory continued to hold her card, flipping it as if he anticipated it would reveal a hidden truth. "You know," he said, raising his voice this time, "this scam is not new to us. Individuals arrive, assert they possess reservations, showcase a high-limit card, and vanish as soon as we contact the bank. Unfortunately, this is not the case this time." He faced Kevin and presented him with the card. "Secure it properly." Kevin accepted it with enthusiasm and proceeded to a small cabinet. With meticulous attention, he opened a drawer behind the desk, unveiling a brushed steel safe. He inserted the card and forcefully closed the door. "You're finished here," he remarked with a smile. Sophie exclaimed while filming. Her card was just taken. Jacob moved in closer. "That constitutes theft. That does not align with established policy." Aisha remained still. She maintained a calm demeanor in her voice. "This decision will lead to regret." At the age of 24, Aisha entered a boutique hotel in Atlanta following a red-eye flight. She wore comfortable sweats, visibly fatigued from a day filled with meetings, and held a confirmed reservation. The man at the desk scrutinized her appearance and remarked, "You don't seem like someone who would choose to stay here." He informed her that the system was currently down and suggested that she return when the manager was available. That night, she found herself sleeping in her car. The following morning, she commenced drafting a business plan that would eventually evolve into one of the largest hospitality groups in the nation. In the lobby of a hotel that bore her brand, she found herself confronted once more by the same tone, the same assumptions, and the same type of man attempting to diminish her presence. Gregory inclined his body forward. "Your reservation has been cancelled. Deception is not something we accept. You are causing delays for actual guests." Aisha remained unfazed. "Are you referring to those who are currently observing this?" She motioned towards Sophie and Jacob, who continued to film. Other guests paused in their activities. Some individuals were observing intently. Others engaged in hushed conversations, while a few appeared distinctly uneasy. Elena observed, her jaw clenched tightly. Lauren made her entrance. "It is imperative that you depart immediately." Aisha maintained her steady gaze. "Are you certain?" Lauren's tone exuded confidence. "We expect a positive response, or we will have to involve the authorities." Gregory wore a sly smile. "Feel free to create a memorable moment. Your outcome is unlikely to be favorable." Aisha remained unblinking. "That will be the final occasion you address me in such a manner." Elena took a decisive step forward. "She is correct. This morning, I noticed her name in our system. The reservation is confirmed." Gregory pivoted towards her with a sudden intensity. "One more word, and you'll be gone as well." Aisha extended her hand towards her phone once more. On this occasion, her voice resonated with greater intensity. "Nia, please record this moment. Secure the video timestamps." Nia's voice resonated with clarity. "Entry recorded. The system is prepared and ready for operation." Jacob inclined his body toward the front desk, gesturing at the card visible through the glass window of the safe. "It states, A. Carter, VIP. It's authentic. She is genuine." Gregory let out a derisive scoff. "Creating a counterfeit card is within anyone's capability. She is well liked by others." Aisha interjected, "Complete that sentence. Proceed." However, he did not. The words caught in his throat as he became aware of the increasing circle of eyes surrounding them. Aisha advanced with poise and composure. Yet each word she uttered resonated with significance. She stated that you have just committed the gravest error of your professional career. Gregory smiled as if he still wielded authority. "Do you believe that to be the case?" She gazed deeply into him. "No, I am certain of that." As the tension enveloped the lobby, tightening like a noose, none of them, Gregory, Lauren, or Kevin, had any understanding of her true identity. However, they were on the verge of discovering the truth. Ravi Kapoor's voice echoed through the lobby, carrying a sense of imposed authority, elevating the small silver key to the safe as if it were a prized trophy. "This card is now considered company property," he announced. "Until the bank completes its verification process, the funds will not be returned to you." He flashed a self-satisfied grin, exuding confidence and a touch of theatricality. With a chilling sense of conclusion, the safe door clicked shut behind him. However, Kevin remained oblivious to the tempest he had just summoned. Janelle Brooks remained resolute in her stance. Her expression was inscrutable, and her silence held more authority than any verbal outburst. Gregory leaned in once more, his gaze shifting toward the steadily increasing crowd. "You're wasting everyone's time," he remarked. "Make your decision now, or we will take that choice out of your hands." At that moment, Lauren, fueled by the support of her manager and Kevin's dramatic flair, emerged from behind the desk, adjusted her blazer, and extended her hand toward Aisha's arm. "This is your final notice, it is time for you to depart." As her hand touched the surface, The ambiance in the lobby transformed completely. Gasps filled the air as Rachel Knox's phone captured the movement in an instant. She seized her and shouted. The clip is currently being uploaded to Reddit with a straightforward caption showcasing the live event at Horizon Grand. Jacob's live stream had surpassed 100 viewers, with the majority of them inundating the chat with expressions of shock and disbelief. Maria Rios advanced, her voice quivering with suppressed indignation. You mustn't lay a hand on a guest, she stated firmly. Her reservation is confirmed. Lauren pivoted, her eyes gleaming with intensity. Please refrain from getting involved if you wish to maintain your position. However, Elena remained resolute. She gazed at Aisha, who remained completely still, and cautiously stepped a bit closer to her. I cannot lie for you, she stated firmly to Gregory. At that precise moment, Gregory abandoned all pretense. She's attempting to deceive us, he whispered sharply. Individuals of her kind often believe they can manipulate the system to their advantage. His tone had shifted, becoming deeper and more malevolent. However, the words were overheard by at least 3 guests in close proximity. A gray-haired woman, elevating her phone slightly, spoke to no one in particular. I find it hard to accept what I'm hearing. A man in a navy suit leaned toward Jacob's stream and spoke. Are you capturing all of this information? Jacob acknowledged with a nod. Everything. At the heart of the tempest stood Aisha, unwavering and composed. She lifted her phone back to her ear. Nia, she instructed with a composed demeanor. Please escalate the internal system and initiate the audit documentation process. I request that every word be recorded from this moment onward. On the other end, Monica Fields's voice was clear, comprehensible, marked by time, and captured in recording. Aisha inquired if Carla should be on standby. She requested just 1 more minute. Kevin leaned over the desk, raising his voice to ensure it reached the far wall. You are deceiving others. Madam, do you truly believe that a card grants you access to this establishment? Return to your place of origin. A symphony of whispers echoed through the lobby. Elena had stepped out from behind the concierge podium, now standing side by side with Aisha. I've been employed here for 3 years, she stated, her tone resolute. I have observed this pattern previously. Whenever a guest such as her enters, alone and exuding confidence while dressed casually, they are treated as if they are criminals. Gregory narrowed his eyes. Whenever someone raised a question about it, Elena persisted. You claim it's policy, yet it appears otherwise. It is you. Aisha found herself immersed in a rich tapestry of backstory. A 16-year-old girl, elegantly attired in her Sunday best, awaited in the lobby of a hotel in Charlotte. Her parents arrived later than expected. A clerk approached her and stated, "This area is designated for guests only." Despite her efforts to explain, the woman remained unresponsive. She was guided to the sidewalk as if she were a loiterer. The shame lingered within her for years. It did not diminish her stature. It enhanced her acuity. It contributed to her development. Gregory had more to say. He directed his gaze towards Elena. I have had enough. I need her to leave immediately, or I will be forced to have security escort both of you out. Lauren, who had remained quiet since Sophie resumed filming, interjected swiftly. She declined to present valid identification. This constitutes a breach. I am submitting a report regarding this matter. However, the tension was beginning to shift in their favor. Jacob, continuing to film, directed the camera towards his own face. To clarify, he stated, we are observing a situation where a guest is being subjected to harassment by hotel staff following her submission of personal information, including her name, card, and ID. The staff is now attempting to physically escort her out. This goes beyond merely poor service. This is quite unappealing. Aisha glanced at Kevin, her voice remaining as soft as it had been. Please return my card at your earliest convenience. Kevin leaned over the counter, a smirk playing on his lips. What are the alternatives? Aisha's gaze remained fixed. Failure to comply may result in permanent exclusion from the Horizon system. Absence of employment, lack of references, and no possibility for appeal. Lauren let out a derisive snort. You do not represent Horizon. Elena promptly voiced her thoughts. Indeed, she does. Gregory's voice cut through the air with sharp precision. Your behavior is inappropriate. Elena, you may not be familiar with her identity. Sophie chimed in from the sidelines. Indeed, she does. Everyone does. She redirected the camera towards Aisha. Observe her posture. Observe her remarkable calmness. That does not reflect an individual seeking assistance. That's an instance of someone allowing you to create your own downfall. Aisha maintained a steady tone in her voice. Kevin, this is your final opportunity. For the first time, Kevin appeared uncertain. Gregory made an effort to redeem the situation. This matter is not of a personal nature. It pertains to established protocol. However, his words arrived after the moment had passed. The videos featuring Sophie and Jacob were rapidly gaining traction, with guests murmuring about the astonishing content they had just witnessed. A man remarked, "I have been here for years." Not again. A young woman with a carry-on suitcase turned to Elena and inquired, "Is she truly who I believe she is?" Elena remained silent, yet her lack of response conveyed everything that needed to be said. Subsequently, a twist emerged that dramatically altered the atmosphere of the lobby. Elena advanced, her voice rising in volume. This is not the first instance in which Gregory has overlooked complaints of this nature. He has received a warning. Last month, I recorded 3 instances, 2 involving solo women of color, all of which were dismissed. Gregory's face turned a deep shade of red. That statement is not true. Jacob directed the camera towards himself. Are you certain? Aisha surveyed her surroundings with a deliberate slowness. Every phone was lifted, and every guest focused their attention as she spoke, addressing no one specifically yet projecting her voice for all to hear. Your time managing this establishment without oversight has come to an end. Gregory made one final, desperate attempt. If you choose to remain, I will have no option but to contact the authorities myself. Aisha smiled, urging him to proceed, and for a brief moment, Gregory paused. For the first time, he noticed an expression on her face that left him feeling uneasy. Neither fear nor uncertainty, but rather power, controlled, silent, and extending far beyond his reach. Guests started to shift, both subtly and purposefully, maneuvering between Aisha and the front desk. Although they were unaware of her name, they possessed sufficient knowledge. A woman maneuvered her suitcase straight into Lauren's path. A man detached his phone charger from the desk outlet and positioned himself next to Elena. Jacob flipped his phone, documenting the expanding crowd. She is now under their protection. He spoke into the stream. Aisha, positioned at the center, advanced a single step and articulated a brief statement. This lobby is under my ownership. The words remained unvoiced. There was no necessity for them to do so. Kevin's smirk wavered. Lauren cast her gaze downward, while Gregory blinked, and in that fleeting moment of silence, the lobby, previously filled with tension, began to shift. What would your response be if someone attempted to force you out of a hotel that you owned? We invite you to share your insights in the comment section below. Remove her immediately. Gregory's voice resonated through the marble lobby with the authority of a gavel. Striving to reclaim the control that had already eluded him, the lobby had lost its tranquility. Mobile devices were elevated. What were once mere whispers have now transformed into open protests. Despite his flushed complexion and the tremor of authority he no longer genuinely possessed, Gregory pressed forward with determination. She is on private property without permission. She's a liar, he exclaimed loudly. He faced the intercom and forcefully pressed the button with his hand. Kevin's voice resonated throughout the entire lobby speaker system. Attention all staff. There is an unauthorized individual in the lobby. Please refrain from engaging with them. Please refrain from engaging with this guest. Attention. Fraud alert. As the announcement concluded, an oppressive silence enveloped the room, more profound than the statements that had just been made. Aisha remained composed, while the guests reacted with surprise. Rachel Knox called out from the corner. She is not a fraud, we are documenting everything. Her voice quivered, not out of fear, but from a deep-seated anger. Jacob's live stream audience had surged beyond 2,000 viewers. Comments surged in like waves. That constitutes theft, which is truly astonishing. What is the reason behind this occurring in a luxury hotel? A mother and her teenage daughter stepped back from the check-in line, murmuring, "They're going to regret this." In the meantime, Lauren, visibly shaken yet resolutely adhering to Gregory's guidance, seized Aisha's arm once more and pulled her toward the exit. "Come on, you're making a fool of yourself," she whispered sharply, her teeth clenched in frustration. At that moment Maria Rios positioned herself between them, the youngest staff member in the room, both physically and in experience, consistently stood shoulder to shoulder with Aisha, voicing their thoughts with confidence. "Don't touch her again," she stated firmly, her voice resonating with clarity. Lauren came to a sudden halt. "You're going to be fired," she declared sharply. Elena stood her ground. "Then go ahead and fire me," she retorted sharply. "However, you must refrain from any physical contact with her." Gregory propelled himself ahead, his irritation reaching a boiling point. "Are you familiar with her identity?" He let out a sharp bark directed at Elena. "She is not genuine. Observe her closely." He pointed to Aisha's t-shirt, her jeans, her sneakers, as if they were evidence of something significant. Individuals residing in penthouse suites typically do not present themselves in that manner. Aisha's voice was soft and deliberate. "You continue to use the term fraud, as if it will somehow erase your error." She made a modest advance. The distance between them diminished, resembling a noose tightening around Gregory's narrative. At the age of 29, Aisha arrived in Los Angeles to attend a conference. She donned a navy pantsuit, striking a balance between professionalism and understated elegance. The man seated at the desk examined her ID, glanced at her, and then returned his gaze to the card once more. "This cannot possibly be you," he had remarked. "A second form of identification will be required." She offered one, followed by another. However, she was kept waiting for 2 hours during the verification process. In the meantime, she observed 3 white men enter and secure suites without presenting any identification. That evening, she composed the policy that she would subsequently put into action in her own hotels. "We maintain a strict policy against guest profiling." That moment resonated within her. And now, this one did as well. "Get security," Gregory commanded sharply, directing his attention to Kevin, who had distanced himself from the desk and now lingered hesitantly near the office hallway. He decided to summon them. Yet Kevin paused momentarily. His confidence faltered as he faced not a woman pleading for admission, but an individual who possessed knowledge he lacked. And to make matters worse, onlookers were observing the scene. Sophie's phone shifted from one face to another, documenting each subtle twitch of guilt and every fleeting flinch of power. Jacob, while continuing his live stream, shifted his attention to a guest positioned nearby. "Excuse me, could you please share what you are observing here?" The man responded promptly. "I observe an individual being ejected from a hotel where she evidently has a rightful presence." Gregory twirled. "That statement is defamatory. She has not provided any evidence to support her claims." Aisha steadily directed her phone towards the audience. "Is there anyone who would like to see evidence?" Jacob promptly exclaimed. "Show them." However, she neither displayed a badge nor produced a contract. She instead directed her gaze towards Elena and inquired gently, "Could you please check if my name is listed in the reservation system?" Elena gave a subtle nod. "Indeed, it is located under a Carter penthouse, and I have confirmed the check-in remotely. Is the VIP tag included with it?" Aisha proceeded with her thoughts. Elena gave another nod. "Indeed, designated as an executive-level override with owner-level clearance." The lobby became silent. Gregory's gaze flickered rapidly. "It is possible that this was fabricated. She might have hacked in." Sophie retorted sharply. "Do you genuinely believe that an individual simply strolled in from the street, compromised your system, and managed to gather 2,000 witnesses in the process?" Lauren, her complexion drained of color, cast her gaze downward to the floor. Kevin advanced with a sense of hesitation. "The card has been securely locked in the safe as per your instructions." "Greg, what if we are mistaken?" Aisha directed her gaze towards him. "You were instructed to take from me. That is precisely what you accomplished. However, you had an option." Kevin's mouth opened and then closed once more. Subsequently, the crowd began to shift. An elderly woman with white hair and a floral scarf stepped forward. She stepped in between Aisha and Lauren, asserting firmly, "You will not lay a hand on her again." A man entered the scene, followed by a woman pushing a stroller. In mere moments, a loose half-circle emerged before Aisha, as though the guests had instinctively created a boundary of their own. Gregory positioned himself behind the desk, appearing noticeably diminished in stature compared to just moments before. Aisha surveyed the human barrier that had formed unexpectedly around her. "This is what happens," she said softly. As silence became untenable, Jacob directed his phone towards the crowd. "They are currently standing with her," he stated into the camera. "I believe they are here to stay." Gregory's desperation reached its zenith. He raised his voice above the din of the lobby. "All of you are being influenced. She is manipulating you." Kevin, still grasping the intercom mic, leaned in and whispered something that was barely audible. However, the entire lobby was captivated as the sound resonated through the speakers. "She is the owner of the establishment, isn't she?" It lingered in the atmosphere, reminiscent of smoke. Sophie gradually directed her phone toward Aisha's face. "Are you in agreement?" she inquired, her breath catching in her throat. Elena advanced with purpose. "Indeed, she does." Gasps echoed throughout the room. A man positioned near the lounge chairs murmured, "Wait, is this her hotel?" Lauren gazed at Gregory, her expression filled with dread. "You mentioned that she was not being truthful." Gregory remained silent. Jacob peered through his lens. This is the pivotal moment when everything transformed. Aisha advanced once more, moving beyond Elena and the semicircle of guests, directly approaching the front desk where Gregory remained motionless. "You wanted me out," she stated calmly. "You set me up. You accused me of theft. You embarrassed me in my own lobby." Gregory parted his lips, yet silence enveloped him. Nia's voice resonated clearly through her phone. "Aisha, Carla is prepared. Would you like me to connect her now?" Aisha maintained her gaze on Gregory, unwavering. "Indeed." At this moment, with a single tap on the screen, Vanessa King's voice emerged, clear and precise, resonating through the speaker. "Aisha, all arrangements have been made. We are ready and awaiting your authorization." Aisha inhaled deeply. "Please proceed with the termination of Richard Harlan, Ashley Stern, and Ravi Kapoor. Ensure their immediate removal from the Horizon system. Freeze their access credentials, and document today's incident for legal audit purposes." A moment of stillness. Carla has confirmed and is currently processing the request. At that moment, Gregory's access badge emitted a red buzz. Lauren's did, and so did Kevin's. They found themselves locked out, with all the guests watching in real time. Calm and composed, we pursue justice without any unnecessary drama. Silent, total, permanent, and evident to all attendees present. A singular truth emerged with clarity. This woman did more than merely defend herself. In just 9 minutes, she successfully dismantled an entire system. If you had been a witness to this situation, what actions would you have taken? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Richard Harlan's final vestige of composure disintegrated the instant his access badge emitted a red alert. He gazed at it, bewildered, as if it had turned against him. Kevin's complexion paled as his badge displayed the same error, effectively locking him out of the Horizon system in real time. Lauren stood motionless, her lips slightly parted in shock, her fingers clutching the edge of the counter as if that grip could somehow prevent her job from slipping away. However, the lobby had already undergone a transformation. What was once perceived as a stage of control now thrummed with the energy of defiance. Maria Rios, once the quiet concierge, now stood confidently beside Aisha, her jaw set and her voice unwavering. "They've been removed," she announced, her voice carrying clearly to every guest in the room. "They no longer represent Horizon." Gregory exclaimed, "This action is unlawful, it is not permissible, and it does not align with standard hotel operations." He glanced at Lauren, filled with urgency. "Contact corporate immediately and ensure you speak with a representative without delay." However, Lauren's hands shook as she glanced at her phone, which was blocked. The internal system at Horizon had deactivated her staff login credentials. "I'm locked out," she whispered, panic spreading across her face. "All is lost." As Kevin moved to approach the safe in order to collect Aisha's card, Elena interjected by raising her hand. "Halt immediately," she instructed. "Your authorization to manage guest property has been revoked. Please move away from the counter." Kevin paused momentarily, then retreated gradually, before making the decisive move. Overwhelmed by humiliation, Gregory reacted in the most regrettable manner imaginable. "Do you genuinely believe that this spectacle qualifies you as a leader?" He glared menacingly at Aisha. "You deceived us to gain entry. And you brought us shame in front of others. This may lead to legal action against you." However, His voice wavered, just a touch. At that moment, he realized he had lost control. And he was acutely aware of it. Aisha, maintaining her composure, inclined her head ever so slightly. Do you believe that leadership involves concealing information? Gregory, shaping how we see the world. She motioned towards the guests surrounding them. Leadership occurs when individuals who have long been overlooked finally find their voice. And their message resonates at the perfect moment. A woman in the crowd elevated her voice. You didn't take my complaints seriously last spring, she remarked. I reached out via email regarding an incident that occurred during check-in. But I have not received any follow-up communication. You were the one who replied and disregarded it. Gregory pivoted abruptly to catch a glimpse of her face, only to avert his gaze. Acknowledging her presence, a different perspective. I experienced a double charge for my room and received no response until I indicated the possibility of legal action. A voice emerged from behind the lounge chairs. I requested an ADA-compliant room, but was informed that none were available. Subsequently, I observed another guest checking in and receiving one.